feel sorry for me. I don't want your pity. What I'm gonna take is your respect.
Let's go, Sam. Come on, baby. Cain Velasquez is gonna be fighting for the UFC heavyweight title again, and he will be the champion. I proved that I am worthy of being called champion. I'm a two-division champion, baby.
Hi guys, welcome to TopNewsage. Hit subscribe and press the bell icon to get notifications from TopNewsage. Today we're going to look at
Daniel Cormier streak 22-3.
Let's get started.
Daniel Cormier is a retired mixed martial artist who achieved light heavyweight and heavyweight belts in his career with 4 title defenses. He is one of the best wrestlers in the world and a true legend of the sport without any doubt. As a professional wrestler, Cormier was a 6-time US World or Olympic team member, a World Bronze medalist, a World runner-up, a Pan American Games gold medalist, and a 2-time Pan American champion. Some of his major awards include the 2nd UFC double champ, 3 times Performance of the Night, 2 times Fight of the Night, and Strikeforce heavyweight champ. In this video, we will see all the fights of the Cormier streak 22-3. Let's get started. Daniel Cormier vs Gary Frazier 1-0. Daniel Cormier was going to make his long-awaited debut against Gary Frazier, who was also making his debut. The fight was held on 25th September 2009 in Strikeforce Challengers. Cormier got on top of Frazier in the very first round and punched him. In the second round, Frazier was showing some skills, but Cormier fought back and got him to the ground. He started punching him in the face. The referee stopped the fight at 3 minutes and 39 seconds and declared Daniel a winner. Daniel Cormier vs John DEVINE 2-0. Daniel Cormier was going to face John DEVINE in the second match of his streak on 26th March 2010 at Strikeforce Challengers. DEVINE was coming in the ring with 5 wins, while Cormier was also very confident after winning his debut fight. But it only took 1 round of 1 minute and 9 seconds for Cormier to produce the result on KO punches. Daniel Cormier vs Lucas Browne 3-0. Lucas Browne was very confident to defeat Daniel Cormier after winning his first 5 matches, but Cormier also wants to move his winning streak to 3-0. The fight was held on 31st July 2010 in ex-MMA2 ANZ vs USA. Cormier showed his strength and won the match at 4 minutes and 35 seconds of the very first round. He came top on the Lucas with TKO punches when the referee stopped him from strikes before announcing him as a winner. Daniel Cormier vs Tony Johnson Jr. 4-0. Daniel Cormier and Tony Johnson faced each other on 13th August 2010 in King of the Cage, Imminent Danger. Tony Johnson didn't lose any of his first 4 matches and wanted to move his unbeaten streak to 5-0. But on the other hand, Daniel Cormier put all his effort to move his unbeaten streak to 4-0 and defeated Johnson at 2 minutes and 27 seconds of the very first round. Daniel Cormier vs Jason Riley 5-0. This fight was held on 21st August 2010 in Strikeforce, where Riley was looking to rebound after the March loss from Divine Cole. It's also the very first fight of Riley under the Strikeforce banner, which proves very unfortunate for him. He lost the fight only in 1 minute and 2 seconds of the first round on TKO punches. Daniel Cormier vs Soa Paley 6-0. Daniel Cormier was going to face Soa Paley in his 6th fight of the streak on 5th November 2010 in Extreme MMA Australia 3. Soa won 8 of his streak fights so far with 2 losses, while Cormier was fighting to add another win in his 5-0 winning streak. He won the fight with TKO punches on the completion of his first round and moved his streak to 6-0. Daniel Cormier vs Devin Cole 7-0. Daniel Cormier and Divine Cole set all for Strikeforce Challengers on 7th January 2011. Daniel Cormier doesn't want to waste any time to follow up his 6 wins of 2010. Both of them tried their best throughout the 3 rounds of 5 minutes to snatch the victory, but Cormier won it on a unanimous decision. Daniel Cormier vs Jeff Monson 8-0. This was an interesting clash between Daniel Cormier and an experienced Jeff Monson, who won 42 of his streak fights so far. From the beginning, both wrestlers start punching each other despite being known as their ground games. In the end, Cormier won on the judges' unanimous decision with 30-27 scores. Daniel Cormier vs Antonio Silva 9-0. Daniel Cormier faces Antonio Silva on 10th September 2011 in Strikeforce, World Grand Prix semi-finals. Both of them have dangerous hands and love to throw them. Even 5 of Cormier's wins out of 8 fights come from strikes. His lethal fists helped him to defeat Antonio at 3 minutes and 56 seconds of the very first round. Daniel Cormier vs. Josh Barnett, 10-0. Daniel Cormier faced Josh Barnett in the final round of the Strikeforce Heavyweight World Grand Prix on 19th May 2012. This was one of the toughest fights of Cormier's streak, where he got the victory with a unanimous decision. Daniel Cormier vs. Dion Starring, 11-0. Daniel Cormier was already the favorite to win this encounter, which took place on 12th January 2013 in Strikeforce, Marquardt vs. Safadine. He showed his strength to win the fight at 4 minutes and 2 seconds of the second round on TKO punches. Daniel Cormier vs. Frank Mir, 12-0. This was the anticipated UFC debut of Daniel Cormier against the former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir. The former champion starts throwing the kicks early to keep the distance, but Cormier closes the distance and puts him up against the cage. The second round also starts with a series of kicks from Frank, but Cormier handles it in the same fashion and keeps pushing. Both cannot produce the result even in the third round, and Cormier was announced the winner on a unanimous decision. Daniel Cormier vs. Roy Nelson, 13-0. This was the 13th streak fight of Daniel Cormier on 19th October 2013 against Roy Nelson in UFC 166, Dos Santos vs. Velasquez. He's able to keep his UFC record squeaky clean by defeating Nelson on a unanimous decision after 3 rounds of 15 minutes. Daniel Cormier vs. Pat Cummins, 14-0. This time, Daniel Cormier stepped up against the late replacement Pat Cummins to make the statement at lightweight heavyweight. The fight was held on 22nd February 2014 in UFC 170, Rousey vs. McMahon. Everyone was thinking that Cormier would be too much for Cummins, and he proved it right by winning the fight just in 1 minute and 19 seconds of the first round. Daniel Cormier vs. Dan Henderson, 15-0. This fight was held on 24th May 2014 in UFC 173, Virao vs. Dillashaw, where Daniel Cormier completely dominated Dan Henderson with his elite-level wrestling. He beat him up on the ground and finished the fight with a rear naked choke. He took 3 minutes and 53 seconds of the third round to secure another victory. Daniel Cormier vs. Jon Jones, 15-1. This was the first defeat of Daniel Cormier from Jon Jones, who won 20 of his streak matches so far and only lost 1 due to disqualification. He was one of the toughest opponents of the Jones streak, and he proved it. It was the very first fight of Daniel Cormier of the year 2015. On third match in UFC 182, Jones vs. Cormier. Cormier gave Jones a tough time, but he managed to snatch the victory on a unanimous decision. Daniel Cormier vs. Anthony Johnson, 16-1. Daniel Cormier retained his light heavyweight championship against Anthony Johnson on 23rd May 2015 in UFC 187, Cormier vs. Johnson. Daniel Cormier took 2 minutes and 39 seconds of the third round to win the match. Daniel Cormier vs. Alexander Gustafsson, 17-1. Daniel Cormier and Alexander Gustafsson were very confident to defeat each other after winning the 16 matches of their streaks. The fight was held on 3rd October 2015 in UFC 192, Cormier vs. Gustafsson. In the majority of the first round, Cormier showed his wrestling roots with his ground and pound fighting. But the result came in the third round, where Cormier owned the early part with an onslaught of uppercuts from the clinch. Daniel Cormier vs. Anderson Silva, 18-1. This fight will be remembered as one of the greatest fights of all time at UFC 200. It was held on 9th July 2016, where Cormier used his size and wrestling advantage. On the other hand, Silva doesn't have an answer to the top control of Cormier. In the end, Cormier won on unanimous decision after 3 rounds. Daniel Cormier vs. Anthony Johnson, 19-1. This was the second time when Daniel Cormier was facing Anthony Johnson in his streak. In the first round, Johnson pinned Cormier against the fence early, which was enough for him to win the opening round. However, Cormier took the charge in the second round and won the fight at 3 minutes and 37 seconds on a rear naked choke. Daniel Cormier vs. Volkan Oezdemir, 21. Volkan won 15 of his streak matches so far and was very confident to defeat Daniel Cormier as well. The fight was held on 20th January 2018 in UFC 220, MIOCIC vs Ngannou. The first round was not the dominant one for Cormier, but in the second round, he used the TKO punches to win the fight in 2 minutes. Daniel Cormier vs Stipe Miocic 21-1. Daniel Cormier faced Stipe Miocic 3 times in his career. This was the first of them, which was held on 7th July 2018 in UFC 226, Miocic vs Cormier. Fortunately, Cormier beat him at 4 minutes and 33 seconds of the first round on KO punches. Daniel Cormier vs Derrick Lewis 22-1. This was the last win of Daniel Cormier before his retirement. After that, he lost both of his fights against Stipe Miocic and announced retirement. It was held on 3rd November 2018 in UFC 230. Cormier was thoroughly dominant and took the fight to the ground in both of the rounds. The rear naked choke from Cormier finished the second round at 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Daniel Cormier vs Stipe Miocic 22-2. This was the second fight of Daniel Cormier against Stipe Miocic. Fortunately, he won the first one in just 1 round. This fight was held on 17th August 2019 in UFC 241. Daniel Cormier showed his full strength, but this time he could not defeat Stipe. He won the fight at 4 minutes and 9 seconds of the 4th round on KO punches. Daniel Cormier vs Stipe Miocic 22-3. This was the last fight of Daniel Cormier before his retirement, which was held on 15th August 2020 in UFC 252, Miocic vs Daniel Cormier. He tried his best throughout the 5 rounds, but could not get the desired results. He lost the fight again on a unanimous decision. After 3 weeks of the last defeat against Stipe Miocic, Daniel Cormier announced his retirement during the show on ESPN.
Hope you enjoyed our video. Please like, comment, and share it. See you all in the next one. Thank you. Bye.